everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. Something different is going to happen this evening because we have two different screens. I'm also live on Instagram over here. So I'm going to try to look at both of the screens, but Instagram, you're going to have to take a back seat to Facebook tonight because this is the first time I'm doing it. So as always, whoever wants to ask a question, just leave it in the comment section and I will answer every single question that's coming up this evening. So tonight's episode is Alien Series Part 5, the Reptilian Agenda, and we're presenting them as this episode is Interdimensional Beings, and those are also called Ultradimensional Beings. Now for you guys that are just tuning in, and Instagram also, if you haven't seen the other 4 episodes, I'm going to leave a link to my YouTube channel in the comments section so you can go back and watch all 4 episodes if you want to get in on the rest of the information, because the last episode we went over the alien agenda, the reptilian agenda, and we presented the reptilians as extraterrestrial, interterrestrial, and then tonight's episode is the interdimensional or ultra-dimensional. So let me do some shout outs to my people that are joining on Facebook. So shout out to Sandra Buchanan Clemens. A special shout out to Danny Adams and Jeff Talon, Marion, and David and Jean. Hi, you guys. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, Rosa. Hey, Rochelle. Yes, Sandra, isn't it a wonderful evening? The temperature is in the 70s today in Kentucky. It has been beautiful, balmy, and just absolutely not summer. It's been like a spring day, so I'm really excited about that. It's been nice. I've kept the windows and stuff open today. Hey, Kyla, nice to see you. Hey, so thanks for joining me, you guys, tonight. So tonight we're going over the interdimensional reptilians. And let me tell you, this gets into a lot of different things. Before we get started, though, I want to show you guys some stuff that we're going to do. And this is going to be for August. And I want you guys to tell me what you want. So everybody knows I do a free giveaway once a month. This is going to be the giveaway for August, and I want you guys to vote on it. I'm going to show it to Instagram and then show it to Facebook. Hey, Letha. Hey, Fiona. And a special shout out to Ashley. So you can have your choice of one of these 2 different things for August. Okay, I'm going to post this for July. This is a selenite dowsing pendulum. Maybe if I can get it to stay still, you can get a good look at it. It's got little feathers on it. Let's show it to Facebook here. Selenite radiates real white light, and it's very, very good for spiritual questions if you're dowsing. So you can have your choice of this or another lavender ring, lavender quartz ring. This is lavender quartz ring. It's a size 7.5 set in silver. So I'm going to let you take a look at that. It's a 7.5 set in silver, a lavender quartz ring, and I'm going to post this on Facebook in July for the giveaway for August. Okay. Hey, Zoe. Hey, Eric. Nice to see you guys. Hey, Kathy Franklin. Let me make sure I got everybody. There you go. Yes. So, in the comment section, put down what you want the free giveaway to be for August. Okay. When I post it in July, you're going to put your name in the comment section to enter. And I'll post it on Instagram as well. And thanks for the hearts, you guys. So, just let me know which one you want for August, and I'll go ahead and post that the first week in July. And then the drawing in August will be the second Sunday of the month. And that's the same day that I do the haunted items hunt, which is a whole lot of fun. So the haunted items hunt in July is going to be really wild, and so will August. So just stay tuned, because it's going to be really cool. So let's get on to our topic for this evening, which is the interdimensional reptilian being. And you know, I have notes that I really want to read to you bad, because these are such good studies that were done. So what they're saying is, and if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll get to them. Hey, Sarah, interdimensional beings, what they're saying about the reptilians is their physical bodies, their resonance is such a different rate from our own, and that the frequency and the spin of the atoms is outside of normal human perception. Now, and we've seen this in a lot of ghost hunting, that animals will see and sense things that humans cannot. So our human visual perception is not like animals. Animals can perceive more. So, but they're saying that the reptilians, their resonance is outside of our human visual perception, and maybe even outside of our psychic perception as well. So what happens is they kind of mask themselves by this altered perception. So the human soul can remain in our dimension, and we do perceive ghosts occasionally. We do film spiritual activity and ghostly apparitions. And one of the theories is that the reptilians are kind of in the same dimension as ghosts and spirits, and they can flux into our dimension at will. And so sometimes we can perceive them, but most of the time their resonance is masked, so you can't detect them. So what we're talking about is the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension. Now, most of the study that I noticed was that reptilians exist in the fifth dimension. We know that the fourth dimension is time. The fifth dimension is folded into the fourth. So what they're trying to do, and this is the theory, is they're trying to transfer their energy from the fifth and the fourth dimension into the third dimension. Our dimension is the third dimension. It's this dimension of physicality, you know, solid mass, length, width, and depth. And their dimension is the added time and the fifth dimension. So they're kind of folding that into ours. So, but the studies are showing that what they're actually doing is trying to enter the third dimension in a physical way, but they're also trying to imprint on top of physical people to make these physical people like a host. It's almost like a demonic possession, if you will. And that just really blew my mind. So what they're here's one interesting thing. So people believe that the reports of rain, like if it's raining frogs or raining fish, and we have historical accounts of this. But the theory is that when it's raining frogs or raining fish, that this is the reptilian race trying attempts at sending things from the fourth dimension into the third dimension to manifest into a physical form. I thought that was really wild. So these are supposed to be early attempts by reptilian scientists to send inanimate and animate life forms through the dimensional barrier that divides the two frequency realms and try to manifest into a physical form. So one of the theories, I didn't quite agree with this one, and I'll tell you why, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you just in case you might want to know. So what they're saying is that the first atomic test was conducted on the desert floor of New Mexico in the early 1940s. The resulting EMP, or electromagnetic pulse, permanently split the dimensional barrier open in that one area, and though this newly formed dimensional portal, the military, scientific, industrial complex of the reptilians race poured forth in their craft and began to occupy third dimension in force. In other words, they used this EMP as a portal breach to come into our dimension. So the reason I have problems with that is that we have been experiencing interdimensional or ultradimensional beings for centuries. We have documentation of ultradimensional beings. Okay, so like for example, shadow beings are interdimensional beings. And I'm going to do a cameo broadcast between now and July 3rd on shadow people. Now, July 3rd is the next time that I do the Facebook live stream, Monday Night Live, but I want to do a little cameo broadcast on shadow beings because they are ultra-dimensional beings, and they're really, really active right now. In particular, I'm not sure exactly why, but I want to get with a cohort on that and us talk about it, and then I want to present that information to you. So let me do some more shout outs and make sure that there's no questions. Special shout out to Cynthia Lynch Carlson. Kisses to you. And Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Hey to Scott Harden and Jennifer and Tony. Tony is in Colorado today, you guys. She has made a big leap of faith and is starting a new page and a new chapter, and I'm so happy for her. Kisses to Tony. And send some pictures of Colorado. I'm so proud of you for making this big leap. Okay, so getting back to our topic. So some intra or ultra-dimensional beings are thought to be able to reside at the deepest level of the underworld for indefinite periods of time because of the deep rock and the shielding and proximity to the center of the earth. So, and what they're thinking is that along with the reptilians, that such beings as fallen angels or demons are in the same category. And you know what? I believe in that. I think that that's true. I think that they resonate at the same level. So, hey, Ruth Marie. Oh, she says I look good. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It has also been suggested that from this astral state, because these ultra-dimensional beings, it is in an astral state. Hey, Linda McCauley. they have managed to provoke humans into warfare and situations of stress and fear to extract various emotional frequencies. So, in a sense, they're feeding off of the emotional frequency that fear, anxiety, anger, distrust, all of those things produce. So what I found in my dealings with the paranormal is certain frequencies or certain emotions produce an energy that goes past the body, okay? Energies that go past the body are anger, despair, frustration, jealousy, depression. Those are all energies that you can feel off of someone. As soon as you walk into the room, you know that that person is producing those energies. It's an excess. It's a production of excess emotional energy. And so those are the emotions that psychic vampires feed off of. And so what the studies are showing is that the reptilians are psychic vampires. So Kyla has a question. There are some people who appear as reptiles in their features. Yes. And I'm going to read, at the very end of this episode, I'm going to read some observations from two particular, I think that they were TV broadcasters that were interviewing people and saw the people that they were interviewing kind of flux into those reptilians during the broadcast. Hey, Brenda Joe, thank you for sharing. If you guys like these Monday Night Live episodes, go ahead and hit that screen and share it right now with your friends. I would appreciate that. So, the emotional frequencies are what they are feeding off of. And this is for their own purposes, like inciting warfare with other communities. That is this production of anger that they seem to feed off of. So they orchestrate and feed off of situations such as genocide, global conflict. One of the ways that they feed off of us is to promote drug usage. Drug usage is one of the ways that they can contact you and kind of oppress and take over. It's a stage of, it's one of the first stages of possession, is to influence you when you're not in control of your aura. And when you're under the influence of drugs, you are not in control of your aura. Drugs, alcohol, if you are highly depressed, you're not in control of your aura. If you're under anesthesia, you're not in control of your aura. So Cynthia has a comment. Excuse me. I once watched a movie in school about Kirlian photography, shows the energy emitted. Yes, and that is exactly what they're feeding off of. So, hey, Jessica, thank you for sharing. And thank you to Brenda Joe for sharing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, you guys. Hey, Teresa. So, the interdimensional reptilians are the ones that feed off of the energy. So, and one of the ways that they oppress you is called hosting. So, the hosting is an early stage of possession. Now, one of the things that they're talking about is humans that already have reptilian bloodlines. And so the humans that already have reptilian bloodlines are the ones that are more prone to being a host for a full-blooded alien reptilian. Now, it's my thought that anybody can be a host for a reptilian if their aura is not protected. That's just my thought and my feeling on it. So the hosting process is called the Reptilian Parasite. And most of the documentation refers to the 5th density or the 5th level or the 5th dimension. So the 5th density, according to some, enter a human body that is open or ready for influence under the effects of drugs, alcohol, or depression, or any other, or like anesthesia. And so they're open to invasion and thus become hosts. And the more access the reptilian poltergeist parasite gains over the mind and body of the human host, the more it is able to affect the molecular structure of the human host to the point that it kind of takes over. So at first it's a series of being a host, and then the reptilian energy affects the molecular structure of the human and alters the molecular structure until it incorporates its energy into the human host. That's kind of the alien agenda with the interdimensional beings. So I found that just, and you know what it reminded me of, because they were saying that that this reptilian is assimilating its form and consuming and devouring the human host from the inside out, and that the human gets assimilated. And that took me immediately back to an episode of Star Trek where the Borg is assimilating the Star Trek the Star Trek crew. Do you guys remember that? Does anybody remember that episode where I think it was Star Trek Next Generation? Jean-Luc Picard got partially assimilated, and it just sounds like that. It sounds like an episode of Star Trek. So let me go back. There's a few more comments. Hey, Jessica McKinney, shout out and a kiss to you. Let's see, Danny has a comment. How many known dimensions are there? If you look, Danny, there's at least 20 that are documented that you can go back and look at. But my contention is that there is an innumerable amount of dimensions. We just can't fathom that or get that into our physical brain. But known, I think there's about 20 known. And 20 that you can go and research and watch a YouTube video on the different levels of these dimensions. The one thing that we do know, Danny, is all of these different dimensions are folded, like the top ones are all folded into each level. Everything's folded in. And that goes back to Bohm's theory of the seamless whole. If you guys, and I really go by this, Bohm's theory of the seamless whole kind of explains it all to me, how all of these dimensions are interfolded into ours, and depending on which way that things are rotating or resonating, you can see the things from these other dimensions, or they can suddenly become enfolded to where you can't. Now, before we finish for tonight, oh my God, this half hour has gone so quick. I want to read you one of David Icke's experiences. And David Icke, if you watched last week's episode, he's a really famous British conspiracy theorist. It's hard to say. Say that 20 times already. But he gives a lot of accounts of things that he's done, and he is very big into the reptilian agenda. So this is something that he wrote, and I think that, yeah, this was in 1998. So I'm going to read this to you because I found this very fascinating. So David Icke wrote, in a remarkable period of 15 days, I traveled around the United States in 1998. I met more than a dozen separate people who told me of how they had seen a human transform into a reptile and go back again in front of their very eyes. 2 television presenters had just an experience while interviewing a man who was in favor of global centralization of power known as the New World Order. After the live interview, the male presenter said to his colleague that he had experienced an amazing sight during the interview. He had seen the man's face transform into a lizard-like creature and then return to human. His female fellow presenter had seen the man's face. His female fellow presenter was astounded because she had seen the interviewer's hands turn to reptilian. The male presenter also told of an experience of a policeman friend had while making a routine visit to an office block in Aurora near Denver, Colorado. The policeman had commented to an executive of one of the companies on the ground floor of the entrance of the extreme nature of security of the building. She told him that she should look at the higher floors if he wanted to know how extensive it really was, the security. She also pointed to a lift which only went to certain floors at the top of the building, and as they chatted, she told him of something she had seen weeks earlier. The lift had opened and very strange figures had emerged. He was white to the point of being albino, but he had a face shaped like a lizard, and his eye pupils were vertical like a reptile's. The lizard-like figure had walked out of the lift and into an official car waiting outside. The policeman, who was so intrigued that he used his own time to check on the companies at the top of the building served by the mystery lift, he found that they were all fronts for the CIA. How about that? I just thought that was really, really fascinating. And so I'm glad you guys tuned in. And so I'm going to do a little cameo broadcast this week, so stay tuned. You need to go to my page and hit that notifications and mark C first, so because you don't want to miss this cameo broadcast, because I'm going to go over shadow beings, because shadow beings are huge in the interdimensional realm right now. These are interdimensional, ultradimensional beings. And I'm going to give some research on that, and we're going to delve into that, but I've got to get with a friend of mine who knows a lot about them and has a lot of experience with them as well. I mean, I have conjecture, but I want to check that with somebody else that is in the field, and they're doing the study too. So you guys have a fabulous evening. Don't forget to share this episode with everybody, and don't forget, these episodes are all on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the comment section to the YouTube channel. It's Kathryn Kauffman, Psychic Medium on YouTube. And you guys, kisses from Kentucky. And you guys have a fabulous evening. And I will see you on Friday for another Fun Friday episode. Bye.